Welcome back to TT Plays. Franklin and I are here today to help all you new Grand Archive players and maybe experienced ones understand all of the different print runs and different weird promotional sets the weebs of the shore have put out so far. For a game that hasn't been out that long, there are a shocking amount of these. When I decided to do the video, I didn't know how much prep work it would be. And yeah, it ended up being a lot more work to start with. So to start way back in 2022, the Dark Ages, basically, they had the promotional set, aptly named Promotional 2022. You can denote this by the P22 in the bottom left. Again, that's Papa 22. And they're just some really pretty full art style cards that they had going on here. In addition to that, they also introduced what I would call the first CSR. They hadn't named it that at a time. But for special individuals that had really been true champions of the games, they said they released this full art Banner Knight right here. And she was kind of the first styling of what now we associate with the CSR. This is back, again, you can see the P22 in the corner here, right? This was the basically first CSR, I'll say, again, for the promotional 22 set. Now, after that, we had the LGS Demo decks, denoted with Demo, D-E-M-O, that's Delta, Echo, Mike, Oscar, 22 in the bottom corner. And these were printed a little weirdly, and they were done in multiple print runs. So some of them were sealed. Some of them basically came in weird little dime bags, Ziploc bags here. They were printed on really thick cardstock, but it was basically given out for anyone who wanted to play the game at conventions like Anime Fest or things like that when they were still generating funds and revenue for the game. So there's no special art on any of these things. It was just basically almost the first printing of the game. After that, we have Dawn of Ashes Prelude. Now, these are the Kickstarter promotional, or the Kickstarter starter decks. There were, February 23 these came out. There are about 7,500 of them total. And they're denoted with the DOAP, with the P being lowercase. Once again, that's Delta, Oscar, Alpha, with the lowercase Papa on it. And it's some of the only places where you can get a couple cards like this Caliburn of Silencing. It's one of two places we can get it. So again, that's Dawn of Ashes Prelude. That basically just means Kickstarter starter decks. All right, we then have the Kickstarter promotional packs. There were 3 packs here. We'll break down each pack. The first pack was named Kickstarter Lorraine Blademaster promotional card. And shocking, it's this Lorraine right here and there. It has the KSP, that's Kilo Sierra Papa in the bottom corner. Gorgeous art of Lorraine here for the level 2. Really nasty cleave stuff, draw a bunch of cards. So that was basically given to really high-level backers for their Kickstarter program. Next, they had the Game Store promotional card pack. This contained 2 cards in it, Lorraine Crux Knight and Rye Stormseer, each again denoted with the KSP in the bottom corner. Really nice framing here, right? It kind of loses the left and right framing of these. Last but not least, and all of these cards are foiled too, I'm sorry. Last but not least are the Kickstarter promotional cards given to every backer. And these are all regalia items and then a library witch, spoilers. It has the green K on it, again, KSP in the bottom corner, but we have Arcanist Prism, Claret Sword of Peace, we have Endura, Scepter of Ignition, we have Prismatic Edge, and then we have this absolutely stunning Library Witch here to wrap that up. So those are 3 different Kickstarter promotional things. It was a stretch goal on Kickstarter they gave out. Again, high-level backers, stores, and then everyone who backed it. I don't know why I held up 4 fingers. It's supposed to be 3. Sorry about that. Next up, we have the Kickstarter print run called Dawn of Ashes First Edition, denoted with DOA First in the bottom left-hand corner. Again, Delta, Oscar, Alpha, the number 1 Sierra Tango. And they had some different artwork and actually fewer cards in it than their unlimited print run called Altar Edition. But here's a Flame Rune Swordsman here. Note the art here, kind of looks like Diluc. And it also introduced the first kind of chase card, which they called Collector Ultra Rares. Now, Collector Ultra Rares are different than the Collector Super Rares. They're rarer, but they're also numbered. So here on this Lorraine, you can see in the bottom right of the art, the 1/70. So it's the full art, right, kind of frameless treating. It obviously has this gorgeous signature on it, and they're all numbered. So you know exactly which one you have out there. There are a bunch of different ones of these. I don't have them all here, but here's a Rye, and there's a Sylvie. Again, there's a number of these out there. I don't own one. I don't know if I'd want to own one. They're expensive, but it is a cool piece of history. And again, the Weebs of the Shore have given us lots of chase cards that we can go for if you want to be a collector. And they do have a tournament for it too, which is pretty cool. Now we have Dawn of Ashes Altar, and this is the same Flame Rune Swordsman, obviously very different art treatment. There's a bunch of cards that have different art. This is basically their unlimited print run for Dawn of Ashes. It's denoted with a DOA altar in the bottom left-hand corner. They still introduced chase cards here as well. And the chase cards here, the big difference again, collector super rare, not ultra, and they're no longer numbered. This is Merlin. Of course, you knew we'd have Merlin on here. They also introduced 5 new cards: Bestial Frenzy, Spark Fairy, Frostborn Paladin, Nullifying Lantern, and Young Beastbonder. These cards were added to actually help balance the game, things that they saw being issues that they kind of wanted to smooth over. So again, Bestial Frenzy, Spark Fairy, Frostborn Paladin, Nullifying Lantern, and Young Beastbonder all appear in Altar Edition. They don't appear in First Edition. The last thing that they did is, again, this is a First Edition card here for the lovely Trisket, and they put a border around her for the Altar Edition. I'll show that again in case you missed it, right? First Edition has the borderless treatment. Here is the Altar card that has that gold border based around that. And they did that for 4 cards. We have Trisket, Varric, Avalon, and Camelot all got border treatments heading into Altar. The next printing I think we need to talk about is the Dawn of Ashes starter, denoted with DOASD. That's again Delta, Oscar, Alpha, Sierra, Delta. So again, these are just the publicly distributed unlimited print run starters. There was also a chance that you pull a CSR out of these boxes. Next up are the event packs. And the event packs are a little confusing, but basically there are 2 event packs, but they all have the same stamp or nomenclature in the bottom left, and that's EVP, Echo, Victor, Papa in the bottom left. So the Dawn of Ashes event packs can contain Nia, Arthur, and Lunette. The Fractured Crown event packs can all contain Gawain, Parsnet, and Uther. But again, note they all have EVP on them, but the event pack you get will say on it Fractured Crown of Dawn of Ages, and that dictates which one of these CSRs you're trying to pull towards. Next up, we have these GSC promos, and these were given to certain regions or events. They're pretty expensive. It's a gorgeous card again, not foiled. But we have these 3 cards here that were given for different regional events. I honestly don't know what the different regions were. They weren't American-based. I didn't get to partake in them, but that's okay. We then have the demo decks for 2023. There's not much to talk about here. Demo 23. These were printed on the normal card stock. They feel just like a normal Grand Archive card, unlike the unlike the demo decks from 2022. They already have their mass production here. These are print decks that they gave out at conventions and things like that. We then have the supporter pack, which has confused many people here, and I'm going to run through it here. So each supporter pack has an MSRP of $30 for the box you see on the screen here. Now, inside that box, there are 8 boosters. Each one of those boosters contains 3 cards, 2 uncommons, and 1 rare or higher slot. And then there's a bunch of different cards in through here, and I'm not going to run through all of them, but I'm going to run through some of them here so you can see, right? We have some, again, all of them are going to be full art. So we have these full art fireballs, Rending Flames. In addition, they introduced some chase cards in here as well. And the chase cards we can go after are Gildress, Nimue, I apologize for butchering your name, Trisket, and Xander. And the CSR is here in about 1 in every 25 boxes there. They also introduced the weird, like, I don't know how to call them, and I forgot to get a picture of them, but the sketch versions of like the dog or the ember squirrel. You get 1 of those in a sealed little Ziploc bag per supporter that you open as well. There's 5 or 6 of those total. I apologize, I didn't get a picture of one of them. All right, we're up to Fractured Crown. And Fractured Crown is denoted in the bottom left by FTC. Please ignore that dagger picture. That's out of order. I apologize. CSRs in this are guaranteed now to 1 in 15 boxes. But basically, you're guaranteed 1 per case because they changed the case count up to 18 here. So again, there's a bunch of different CSRs you can chase. They're not numbered. They're just CSRs, not CURs. But again, Fractured Crown is just noted with FTC in the bottom left. It's their second full set. It's a supplemental set. And here's the gorgeous Merlin. And here is the first Merlin CSR. And here's the second Merlin CSR. And this one has confused people a little bit. There's 2 Merlin CSRs. The second one is at a higher rarity. This is the first time they've kind of delineated that within a individual set. There's a bunch of other CSRs. Here's a Lancelot, just for an example. I am going to go backwards now. Excuse as the slideshow goes backwards, because one of the other chase cards introduced in Fractured Crown are these Armaments. These are all reprints except for one, the Quicksilver Grail of a previous regalia in this really nice cold foil textured printing, which is why I tried to take this picture. I apologize, it's not a better picture because the stock art honestly doesn't do it justice. It's a beautiful texture. You really have to feel them. They're 1 in every 3 boxes. You're supposed to get an armament card. I really like that they gave us a chase card that's more reasonably priced. For people that might not want to spend $500 on a card, you can still add some higher end or cooler or differentiating cards here with the armaments and the supporter packs at a pretty affordable rate here. And the last thing that we need to cover, and I know there's a lot of stuff for a game that hasn't been out that long, is just the promotional 2023 cards. There are a bunch of these that are going to be given out at the 2 Ascent events and at other things. They're going to be extremely rare. There's really no reason to talk about them because if you win one, you'll know you get it, but you can get one from winning a store championships, not this Spirit of Fire here, but there's a store championship card, there's a regional championship card, and this is just a gorgeous card you can get from Ascent Houston if you're able to take down first place. So to recap, basically, first edition were for Kickstarters, Alter editions on limited print, Fractured Crown just went to an unlimited print model, and there's a bunch of other different ways to do it. If you'd like to spice up your deck with some cards, but you don't want to break the budget going for CSRs, I would definitely check out the supporter packs, which have those full art stylings at a much more affordable price. If you want to go a little more expensive than that, you can check out the Fractured Crown Armaments to foil out your regalias in this really cool textured cold foil format. So Franklin and I hope you found this video helpful. I hope you're enjoying Grand Archive, and hopefully this helps you understand a little bit more when you log into the TCG player and you don't understand why there are 7 printings for an individual card. So until next, everyone, cheers and happy gaming.